These shows just fill my life with joy. Hey everyone, my name is Meera. Welcome back to my channel. So the media and entertainment industry is one of my favorite subjects to read about, and I love watching TV shows where the plot sort of revolves around this field of work. Some of my all-time favorite TV shows have to do with women working their dream jobs or aspiring to make a name in the field that they're passionate about. Today I'm going to be recommending to you some brilliant women-centric shows that involve the media and entertainment business. First one, Younger. So Liza is a divorced mother who comes to realize that there are very few appealing jobs available for a woman who decided to hit the pause on her professional life and instead become like a full-time housewife. She applies to a publishing house under the pretense of being a 26-year-old, and when she gets selected for the job, she finds herself having to balance these two separate identities, one of being a 40-year-old mother and another of being a 26-year-old aspiring to work in this industry. Moreover, that becomes really difficult when her personal and professional lives are on the verge of uniting. This show is just so wonderful, particularly because it shows you the back end of the publishing houses. I have always wanted to work at a publishing company, and I'm just glad that this show places certain kind of emphasis on the functioning of the publishing houses and the concerns that this industry goes through, the processes, what it's like to work at different levels within a publishing house. All of that is very seamlessly incorporated into the plot of this TV show. And because of this whole dual identity thing, there is a sense of suspense at the end of certain episodes, so you will get like your cliffhangers. It is a full-fledged drama, one that is very entertaining and heartwarming. The friendships formed in this show, the fact that the women are stepping up to the forefront and taking charge of the entire publishing process. It's just wonderful. Watch it. I love it. I can't stop raving about this show. The show is based in New York, so you get some stunning visuals of Manhattan and Brooklyn. The 20-minute long episodes always leave me wanting more. It feels like I haven't seen enough in a particular episode, and I just wish like they'd release all the episodes of a season together. So Younger is a spectacular show that I highly recommend. Second one, Famous in Love. So Paige is a student who is trying to keep up with all of her coursework when one day her best friend convinces her to go for a movie audition. Now, she's not about that kind of life. She's not interested in that kind of work. But when her best friend just continues to insist, she hesitatingly agrees to go for the audition. Now, surprisingly, she gets the role. So this show is about her trying to maintain her private life the way it is, while also skyrocketing to stardom and having to deal with a whole lot of new attention. Since the show gives us a glimpse of the lifestyles of those working in Hollywood, it focuses on how fame, wealth, all of that can sort of make or break a person. There's the whole Hollywood glitz and glamour. Themes of friendship, trust, greed, ostentation are often seen in many of the episodes in this show. Since it's set in LA, you get these beautiful aerial shots of the scenery, the place in between scenes. It is fun to get a perspective on how celebrities live their lives off camera. That is one thing I feel the show has nailed, because often we as the recipients of movies and TV shows don't really stop to consider what it is like to be a celebrity. So by taking off all these layers and bringing these celebrities down to a very humane level, they show you that they are also just like anybody else. There are things that make them happy, things that upset them. Often people consider celebrities to be these soulless robotic beings who are held at a pedestal. This show does a brilliant job of humanizing them and helping us understand them on a more personal level. In my opinion, Bellathon is a great actress. At least I feel that she has brought to life Paige's character very well. There's a good deal of romance also in this show, and no matter what anyone says, I will always ship Paige and Raina. It was such a heartbreaking news when I found out that this show has been cancelled. I really hope that some channel picks it up again, because after that last cliffhanger, that suspenseful last episode, I need more. I cannot get over that last scene. Come on, you need to give us some kind of closure. We need to know what happens. And we need to know that Paige and Rainer end up together, please. Third one, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So Mitch is this doting wife who's always been really supportive of her husband and all of his endeavors. He does part-time stand-up, but even her efforts to land him a good gig doesn't really help him. As the rift in their relationship begins to grow, she realizes that she has a knack for stand-up, and so begins her journey as a comic during a time when women weren't considered fit enough to do anything apart from household chores. This show is set in 1950s America, so we get to see how people lived their lives during that historic period, and also how the stand-up comedy space was just opening up. So it wasn't very common for women to go up on stage and to perform a set. A certain decision that Midge makes in relation to her life doesn't really go down well with her family, because they begin to think, all log kya kahenge. So it's really disheartening to see how they don't support her, even though she is their own daughter and she's undergoing so much difficulty, so much heartbreak. An aspect of the stand-up comedy field that we get to see over the course of this show is how it is to prepare a set, and how stand-up comedians take inspiration from everyday observations. Mitch has this little journal where she notes down things that could be presented in a funny way. So all of that was very interesting to see. We also come to understand how the journey of a stand-up comic is not one smooth upward climb. Mitch experiences firsthand what it feels like to fail on stage. One of the highlights of this show for me was Mitch herself. She is bold, loving, and unafraid. Apart from her career, this show also focuses on the role her friends and family play in her life. I particularly love this show because of the way it has been scripted. Fourth one, Good Girls Revolt. This show revolves around the lives of the employees of a news magazine called News of the Week. It chronicles the gradually changing times in 1960s America. The research staff at News of the Week comprises of women only, because women can get no other jobs and can hold no other positions at that company. They aren't allowed to be reporters, even if they are basically doing all the work and are much more skilled and qualified than the male reporters. What this show brings to light is not only the growing dissent amongst women as they realize that they deserve much more than they are getting, but it also focuses on the ways in which patriarchy attempts to hold back women from being powerful. Equal pay, gender bias, and activism are just some of the topics dealt with by this commendable show. There are only 10 episodes in the first season, and the show was not renewed for another season. It's a very powerful show based on real life events that I highly recommend to all of you. Fifth one, The Bold Type. Jane, Kat, and Sutton are three best friends who work at Scarlet, a fashion and lifestyle magazine in New York City. Jane is a journalist, Kat is a social media manager, and Sutton is an assistant aspiring to work in the fashion department at Scarlet. This show is about their friendship, their love life, their ambition, and just all the experiences that help them grow. I cannot fully justify how amazing this show is. As a media student who someday sees herself working with the zeal and determination that these women project, every single episode gives me immense joy and inspiration. We get an impression about the working of a magazine and all the work that is required to put it together. I can't think of a single episode that didn't have me grinning like a fool because of how awesome it all is. What they depict in this show is not glorified or sugar-coated realities. Instead, these three actors play real women who face real problems in life. The episodes in this show tackle very prevalent issues like body shaming, racism, threats that immigrants face, and many more. So while every episode is fun, light-hearted at times, heartwarming, it also fills you with so much satisfaction because of how good the content is. The show is so meaningful and relatable. It wouldn't be fair to talk about The Bold Type and not praise the character of Jacqueline Carlyle, who is the editor-in-chief of the magazine. Her role is so monumental to the show because she is everything you hope for in a mentor, a senior. She is encouraging, supportive, friendly, and always believes in all of their ability to do great work. All of the employees at the magazine can go up to her whenever they want and talk to her about whatever they're feeling. She just creates a wonderful work atmosphere, and she goes above and beyond the duties of an employer. The second season is currently airing, and in my opinion, there just aren't enough episodes in one season. If this show ever gets concluded or cancelled in the near future, I'm gonna be so upset. I love this show that much, and I really hope that you all will watch it. I have been trying to persuade everyone I know to watch The Bold Type because it's pure gold. Sixth one, Jane the Virgin. Now, Jane the Virgin is somewhat of a special mention in this video because Jane's career as a writer is not really a large part of the show, at least in the first couple of seasons. At the start of the first season, Jane gets artificially inseminated by accident, and her life gets entangled with that of Rafael Solano. As someone who is saving her virginity until marriage, news of her pregnancy comes across as a real shocker, and we follow the lives of Jane, her family, and her friends as they try to grasp this sudden change. One of the things I really like about this show is that it follows the lives of a Latina family. I particularly enjoyed the scenes where Jane and her grandma would speak to each other in Spanish because, well, I'm interested in the language. Also, Jane is such a lovely woman. Her values and upbringing shape her identity. You can't help but love her character. She is religious, career-oriented, and an aspiring writer, all of which I found to be very relatable. Together with her mom and her grandmom, the three women lead the show. It is about family, love, work, and also deals with many themes that are very realistic. This show is just all about the feels. There were times that I couldn't help but shed a tear, lighthearted and funny at times, heart-wrenching at others. Jane the Virgin is a big warm hug. So the last season of Jane the Virgin, that is season 5, will air next year, and I can't believe that we won't have any more of this magical goodness after that. One of the most incredibly special things about this show is that it is structured like a novel. So all of the episodes are titled chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and so on. And even within the episode, there are notes that come up on the screen to sort of add to what the scene is about. There's a whole lot of typing sound effects, which is just music to the ears of writers. I can't talk about the other seasons in this show without spoiling the first season. So all I'm going to tell you is that you need to be watching Jane the Virgin. It's so good. I love it. So those were my recommendations for women-centric shows that have to do with the media and entertainment industry. I love all of these shows and I can vouch for each and every one of them. I hope that you will also get around to watching at least a couple of these shows. Comment below and let me know if you've seen any of these shows and which one's your favorite. Also, let me know if there are any such other shows that I'm missing out on. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again later. Bye!